Give me 90 days in this video and we're gonna change your life. I'm gonna completely reinvent the part of you that is distracted, stuck, and doesn't know how to move forward. In 9 steps, we're gonna figure out how to make you look so different and make more money and have a better life than you have today by the end of this video. This isn't woo-woo, this isn't manifestation, this is war, and we're about to do it live.
You need to be obsessed about the things that you want to do in life, because obsessed people win. It's just really hard to beat somebody who is doing the thing that you call work and they call fun. Brad Jacobs, who built multiple billion-dollar companies, Brad would tell you, this is fun. He's like, I love the pressure. I love being a public company CEO. Like, I'm obsessed with it. And like, you would have to pry this company out of his cold, dead fingers. And I feel the exact same way. You know, Todd Graves, who started Raising Cane's, would say, if you want to win really big in life, it's the fanatics that win. That guy was so obsessed with selling chicken nuggets that he flew to Alaska from Louisiana, got on one of those deadliest catch boats for the salmon fishing. People like die on those things, but it was the only way that he could fund Raising Cane's, his chicken company, and that's what an obsessed person does. It's the number one thing we look for when we invest in founders. Don't tell me what you're gonna do. Tell me what you're gonna do when the whole world is trying to break you, the company's not working, your employees are suing you, everything's going sideways, because that is how I know you're gonna win or not. Today, workout, 3 podcasts, 2 investor meetings, and a dinner with investors. A day like today, when I've got back to back to back, I'm never thinking, God, I don't wanna do this today. This is a privilege, and it's a blast. I gotta get dressed, I gotta get a coffee, we gotta be out of here in 10 minutes.
I want you to start with something so simple it feels silly, but it's gonna absolutely change your life. Clean your closet. Why? 2 reasons. 1, clutter in your physical space equals clutter in your mental space. Cluttered people, they don't make money. Clearing it sends a signal to yourself. I don't operate like I used to. You're done with being overwhelmed, with being in a place that is not intentional and high value living. I want you to donate the stuff that no longer fits the person that you're becoming. This is about stepping into abundance and getting away from scarcity. Second part of this, I want you to ask yourself, what does the wealthier version of me dress like? I want you to dress for the role you want, not the one you have. I've done this multiple times. So the first time is when I moved into finance. I used to wear a lot of crop tops. I was at Arizona State. My outfit was more going to frat parties. So I got rid of all of that. And I wore suits. I cut my hair. I became serious. Then when I was ready for marriage, I was like, oh, I'm kind of too serious. I softened up. I wore more dresses. I shifted the energy and I got married. More recently, as the CEO, I realized leaders should care about how they show up. So I revamped again. And now I have actually fun with clothes when I used to hate it. So the easiest, simplest way to change who you are is to change how you look. There are studies that show the psychological effects of clothing impacts your cognition, your emotions, and your behavior. So they did a study, participants who wore a lab coat, they believed they belonged to a doctor, and that showed increased attention compared with those who wore the same coat described as a painter's coat. The lab coat symbolically primes you for accuracy and attentiveness. Wearing it integrates that meaning into self-perception and behavior. So get rid of the trash, bring in the class. You're going to upgrade your wardrobe.
Great job, thank you.
You get one thing. Success isn't complicated, but it does require focus. When I first started wanting to completely change my life, turn everything around, and become the person I thought I could be, not the one that I had just let myself become, I started focusing on a financial goal first. And the idea was money solves a lot of problems. And so I want you to do the same thing. One thought that I had that I kind of call the freedom method is I want you to pick one way that you make money. And then I want you to define the outcome. What do I mean by that? I want you to put a dollar sign on it. Let's say that you're like, I want to sell 12 Etsy designs. Inside of 90 days, all I want you to do is set a monetary goal that you will actually do the work to hit, because a weird thing starts happening. Once you start hitting your goals, it starts giving you a positive feedback loop neurologically, which tells you I'm the type of person who says I'm going to do a thing, does a thing, and then I achieve the thing. This is like psychological compounding. So basically, the more you win, the more likely you are to win. And then you're like a snowball pushing downhill where every single mountain you go over, every single second that goes by, you get bigger and bigger, and your velocity or your speed is faster and faster. So what's one thing you can sell? What's one thing you can do to make more money? What is one goal you can hit? And in the next 90 days, you're going to do the rarest of things, which is you're going to actually keep your word to the most important person in the world, you. I want you to tell a better and more profitable story about yourself. And I know this sounds a little fluffy, but George Lucas famously says, you have to find your own voice, someone else's. And I think about redefining who you are like I think about writing a book about myself. If I was going to make myself the hero of the story, what would happen? It doesn't have to be long. Pull out a notebook, grab a page or two, and write down the person that you want to be. What would they do? What's going to happen to them? What challenges are in front of them? What opportunities do they have? Give yourself a first act, a second act, a third act, so that as the hard things are coming in front of you, you're like, it's already in the script, baby. I wrote it like that. I think that most people do vision boards, which is fine. A vision board is cool. You put up all these images, but it's not your own words. You're literally picking other people's photos to become your life. Instead, I like writing because you can't think about anything else while you're doing it. You have to craft it. It comes from your imagination deep inside. And sometimes I think that comes from the muse. And so in my life, every time I have wanted to change something, I have written the story of what is going to happen next. Whether that was the first business I started, when I first raised millions of dollars for a business, when I was looking for the human that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, I wrote down who they were, what they looked like, what they did, how many abs did they have. A lot is the answer to that. And that person ended up finding me. And so I think there's something kind of magic about the fluffy nature of writing it down, becoming the author of your story and not letting anybody else do it for you.
Do you still stand by it?
I do still stand by it. I had no money.
And I didn't want people to see the green on my wrist. And it just reminded me, I better make moves. I've got to go fast.
If you've ever looked into buying a business, but you're feeling lost or unsure how to make it a reality, what if I told you that in 3 days, you could have everything you need to confidently buy a business? Let me show you what we're gonna do together live in 3 days. Day 1. Clarity and clear action. This is where you figure out how to identify the business that's right for you. How do you find it and make sure that it is perfectly in your deal box? Day 2 is all about financing, funding the deal, and making sure you avoid red flags that could cost you hundreds of thousands. Day 3, how do you close the transaction, negotiate it, and then get your action plan to scale it up and out fast? All from your laptop with all of my experts on the subject matter. February 20th to the 22nd. Get your ticket now, and I'll see you there, MSM Live. Building identity and leverage. So after you've written a story about who you're going to become, you've changed the way that you actually physically look, now it's time to apply leverage to that. Leverage is what's called an infinite game, meaning that it can scale continuously over time. Naval Ravikant sort of famously talked about this.
There are 3 broad classes of leverage.
And he talks about 3 types of leverage, which is audience, team, and code. In this instance, you can see I'm in the audience building phase. Why? With video, podcasts, everything we do on the internet, I can film one video and I can talk to hundreds of thousands of you. That would be very hard to do historically. What do I need to do that? I need to also have the leverage of team. You can't see him, but we have Kyle, we got Nicole behind the cams. And then I want you to also think about code. Now with AI, you used to have really sophisticated systems. You had to have gone to MIT. Now with ChatGPT, with Replit, you can in one sitting build leverage on top of it. Leverage is really, can we take an identity that you create and then we proliferate that on the internet so that you are all around? Why I like this is there's a formula, actually. I have money leverage. So I have money to invest in a bunch of companies. Those companies grow and I get cash flow from them. Then I have time leverage. I hire operators to run those companies overall. Then I have media leverage. I build an audience. We get 120 million views a month across our platforms, which means that I can sell more of the stuff that's in my portfolio. I can also acquire more operators because they want to come and work for me, like Bobby at BizScout, one of the biggest buying and selling business marketplaces in the world. I own that bad boy. And then knowledge leverage. What you guys get on YouTube when I'm sitting here talking to you is the leverage that compounds over time by me being at Goldman Sachs and State Street and for my master's and my PhD. That knowledge compounds until eventually I know a lot of things about a lot of things. You get to benefit from it, but so do I. Layer on top of it my knowledge about money, my knowledge about hiring, my knowledge about investing, my knowledge about media. I become pretty hard to kill. And that is how you can completely change yourself. You don't have to Michael Phelps become the #1 swimmer in the world. That takes tens and tens of thousands of hours. But can you become the best graphic designer who focuses on Japanese anime, who also has financial knowledge, and so has a company that represents a bunch of people in anime and does their graphic design across multiple books? I think you could. So what is your identity and what is your leverage stack?
You're going to start a not to-do list. If you want to become unrecognizable, it's not about adding more, it's about doing less, but doing it better. Things like, I don't wear stilettos anymore. Why? I want to walk more often than I do, and I can't walk more often in stilettos. So I wear sneakers, that means I work more. So just cut out one thing, no stilettos.
Eliminate distractions. This is the easy part, they say, but let me tell you what, I've just worked a 12-hour day, and it'd be very easy at this point for me to call it, for me to scroll, for me to TikTok, for me to do all the things that they tell us to do to steal our attention. Instead, you want to know what the studies tell us? There's something called projection bias. As opposed to thinking of the future state of how great it's going to be, we think of the future state of how much pain we're in. So it's not going to be that hard to eliminate distractions. Don't have projection bias. A couple easy hacks. Can we turn our screen on grayscale? Grayscale means that our computer screens and our phone screens are less addictive, less distracting. I love the really simple point of every time you pick up your phone, I want you to have a timer on it that says I'm allowed to spend this much time or I'm not allowed to spend this much time. I also treat myself like a small child. Have you ever heard of the marshmallow test? This is where they put small kids in a room, they gave them a marshmallow and they said, if you wait to eat this marshmallow until the researcher comes back, you get 2. Most kids, they ate the marshmallow. The ones that didn't eat the marshmallow, they were more successful as they followed them in their life over the next 30 years. Why? They cut out distractions, they focused in, and they did the hardest of things, which is actually hold back on the things that you want. This is how we eliminate distractions. Because guys, on the other side, it's actually pretty fucking rad. The hard truth, you're gonna have to outwork everybody around you if you wanna completely 180 in your life and become somebody unrecognizable. The cool part is most people are lazy and they don't work that hard. And so if you do one thing, which is wake up 1 hour earlier than you do right now, I can pretty much guarantee you're gonna get ahead of most peers. My friend Mel Robbins says it perfectly. I want you to do her 15-minute rule.
If you want to make more money, you have to fight for the first 15 minutes of the day. I call it the hot 15.
Which means you're gonna take your phone, you're gonna put it in the bathroom. That phone is not gonna get touched until it rings in the morning. It's gonna make you go and get the phone. It's gonna make sure you do not surround yourself with all of social media first thing when you wake up, and watch what happens. And the last secret hack that is actually the easiest one, but the most important, move in silence. When you make big moves and you're looking to actually change your life, don't tell anybody about it. Why? Well, in my faith, a lot of times they talk about something called the evil eye, which is basically how other people's jealousies, how other people's bad wishes for you because they wish it instead for them, well, it can kind of catch on you like a sticky contagion. And so you are not going to tell anybody because real players move in silence until you've already achieved the thing that you want. You can tell us in the comments, but don't tell any of your friends. We want you to win. The world, it doesn't. And then come hit me up in 90 days. I bet your life looks completely differently.